All right. Landi, we're live.
Yay, we're live. Hello, everyone.
Hi, 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 hi. So happy Sunday.
Yes, happy
Yeah,
Sunday.
yes. My name is Ching Juhl, and I host this a live conversation with someone special since 2 years ago. And today I think you're episode 100, like 80.
Wow, are you serious? That's
Yes.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I do one show at first, and then now I'm doing two shows. So yeah, so
Wow.
today, it's my privilege to present Landi Maduro.
Yeah, yeah, you said it right.
Yay! I did it right, right? Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
I
you
did
did.
it. It's always a challenge to pronounce my
I
guest
know.
name. Yeah,
I know.
yeah. So, let's see who is Landi, and then I wanted to just, tell you a very brief kind of her intro, and so I know she wears so many hats.
Yes.
She is a filmmaker, she is a writer, she is a producer, she's a director, she is a photographer, and she was an actress. So she's done so many things, and she's an organizer, she's an entertainment kind of manager or entrepreneur.
Yes.
Wears that hat too. So yeah, this is amazing. So what do you eat? I want to eat. What do you eat?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, for real. I would say I'm a jump in and learn how to swim later type person.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
wonderful. So, you are, I think we met on Clubhouse, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did. Yes, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So you go to these what do you call rooms, and I
Yes,
go to film rooms. Yeah.
yes.
So I always like to find out my guests, like their background.
Mhm.
What lead them to do whatever they're doing. So can you tell us a little bit about your background, please?
Sure, yeah. So I started as an actress and a model. I used to do a lot of modeling, and then decided I did not want to continue to starve myself to be a size zero, which is like, yeah, didn't want to keep doing that, and I hated auditioning, so that made modeling and acting difficult, right? And so I also was a singer. I toured professionally as a singer and performed as a singer, but I always loved film. And so I decided to go to photography school to start understanding the camera and really seeing if I could just kind of make money as a photographer. Of course, doing all my actor friends' headshots and all that good stuff. And then really decided that I wanted to start doing film. And so I was nervous at first. So I had a friend who was a videographer just kind of help me with a lot of things. And I was framing everything like a photographer at first. And then I realized, okay, I have a lot of these skills that I learned in photography. I can parlay into filmmaking. And especially as things were starting to move more digitally. So I'm telling my age. When I started, we were still shooting on film and or digital tape, which, some of you have no clue as to what that is. But yeah, we weren't really doing what we are now. And so I just started really learning it and realizing, hey, I kind of have a knack for this. I understand the camera, and I understand acting and how to relate to actors because I was an actress. I understood playing to the camera because I was a singer and used to be on stage. So I realized that all my skills I could put into filmmaking, and it really helped me from day one when I made my first project not suck. I always say your first film does not have to suck if you start practicing and really picking up your skill set. And so that's what I did. And just kind of went from there. People started realizing, okay, you're really good at producing and putting it all together. So I started producing for other people, and then I started freelancing. So in my company, Bluechild Entertainment, we do a lot of freelance videographies and photography. Kind of scaling back on photography now, but we do a lot of freelance. So I shoot what we call industrials. So if you ever had to watch those videos about sexual harassment in the workplace or maintenance and safety at work, climbing the corporate ladder. We shoot a lot of stuff like that for my corporate clients. And then, of course, I also started doing filmmaking and yeah, kind of just went from there.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, um, you are in Los Angeles now, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, were you born there?
No, no.
No.
I'm actually from Washington State. So
Oh,
Tacoma,
okay.
Washington. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
do you find filmmakers or people in entertainment business is it a sort of necessary to work in Los Angeles area? How do you
Um,
feel?
I don't feel like, especially now with how things are now and everything's on VOD and streaming platforms, I don't feel like now it's as necessary as it used to be. Before, it was like you had to be in New York or Los Angeles, right? Like if you really wanted to make it in film.
Mm,
Now we see Atlanta blowing up, and I actually work a lot between LA and Atlanta. And even now it really doesn't matter where you are. If you really take on your skill set, really start to learn and hone your craft,
mm,
and start to learn the business of filmmaking, you could
mm,
be anywhere. You could
mm,
really be anywhere. It's
mm,
just sometimes a little harder to have the support system if
mm,
you're not in an area that it's popular, but
mm,
you could become a big fish in a small pond,
mm,
right? If you're
mm,
in an area that doesn't have it, because who doesn't want to be part of a film?
mhm,
Especially if you're in, it's easier to get that restaurant for your scene if you're not in the area where filmmaking is probably like you and I in New York. For
mhm,
us, they want a lot of money to rent that space, right?
mhm.
But if
Right.
you're somewhere else, you may be able to get your community to support you in ways that is harder for those that are in areas that are more saturated. Yeah.
Right. Right. So tell us a little bit about one of the most important film you have made.
Sure. Yeah. So I would say the most important film I have made is my documentary. It's called The Silent Killer: Prostate Cancer in the African American Community. And that film really, really went above and beyond anything I imagined in regards to what a film can do. We really learned in making that film that a film can save someone's life. It can make people aware of things that are happening within the community that they may not be aware of or within their own bodies. And so, myself and my filmmaking partner, Chris Edwards, we decided to take on making this film. And now I have become an advocate for prostate cancer awareness. I am part of the Zero Task Force and Health and Disparities Task Force. I think we're changing that name, but I am part of that, really making the community aware about some of the disparities that happen with prostate cancer, specifically among veterans and African American men. And also just trying to save lives. And at first it was like, I'm just a filmmaker, like
Mm,
what? But man, I became so passionate about it, and we toured with that film, and we
wow.
got to screen for the Congressional Black Caucus. And it has just, I always joke that I can't put that film down. We did it in 2017. And even today, it's still relevant and still getting traction and still really saving lives, and has been used as the tool to help even medical professionals understand why there's such health disparities within the African American community and how they can help make that change. So it's definitely my biggest and most proudest project.
That's great. It's like you are not only making a film documentary, but it has such a social and health and impact to people. And I don't have personally enough experience, but I have family members has prostate cancer. So I guess it is something we don't talk enough, right?
Yes.
It's like breast cancer is like everybody knows about
Right.
breast cancer, but
Right.
prostate cancer, I guess it's not mentioned enough. And how do they like detect? Are there like by the time you find like a pancreatic cancer when you discover it's too late? So
Exactly. That's
yeah.
exactly true. Men aren't like us. We share and talk about everything regarding our bodies to each other as women,
Mhm.
right? But
Right.
men are not as open in discussing those issues and problems. And there's a lot of stigma behind prostate cancer. People
Mm.
are concerned about sexual dysfunction. And
Yeah.
so they don't want to talk about it. If their doctor don't mention it, they're not going to mention,
Yeah.
should I get a prostate cancer exam?
Right.
And so
Right.
we want to start changing that, because part of the issues we were finding, it was that the age that they were starting to test men was at 50, but most African American men are getting cancer, prostate cancer, at younger ages and more
Mm.
aggressive forms of disease. So to your point, by the time they're diagnosed, it's already advanced.
Mm.
And so we wanted to stop
Yeah.
that, because really prostate cancer is one of the most treatable cancers if caught early.
Mm,
You can live a very long time afterwards if it's caught early.
mm,
And so that's the part that we've been really working to create awareness. And to your point, when I started working on this film, I didn't know nothing about prostate cancer. Like,
mm,
I didn't have a clue. But I'm glad, like, that we were doing the research and studying, because 6 months into
mm.
studying, my father was diagnosed with stage 1 prostate cancer.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. And
oh,
so
wow.
I was so grateful that I had the information, that we were
Right,
educated as a family, that
right.
my dad could now go to his doctor and ask educated questions
Mhm,
and know if the doctors that he were working with were the right doctors for him.
mhm.
And so, yeah, it was such a blessing that I was doing the documentary, because my dad
Yeah.
got diagnosed shortly after.
So is the film, people can see it somewhere? Where is the stage of the film?
Yeah, so we're actually getting ready to. I can't say which streaming platform yet, but we're
Okay.
really working on getting it on this streaming platform,
Okay.
because we want it. Right now, we've been really just using it as an educational tool
Okay.
within the medical community and universities, but we're
Mm.
getting ready to make it public. It's been a long time coming. Like I said, we did
Yeah.
this film in 2017.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts. But
Right.
we're finally at a place where we can do that, and so
Mhm.
I'm very excited about it.
Wow, that's great. So should we show the trailer?
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna find it. Okay. Where'd it go? Oh, here we go. Trailer. Okay. So let me make it bigger. Is that the one? Wait.
I think so.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The Silent Killer doc official trailer. Yeah,
Yep, there.
yeah. Okay.
People often talk about making a difference, but what does that really mean? I never gave it much thought. I try and live my life in a positive way, provide for my family, enjoy spending time with my friends. If I have a friend or family member in need, I try and support them as best I can. But is that really making a difference?
I actually heard something interesting. I don't know if it's true or not, but if a man lives long enough, eventually they'll have an issue with their prostate. So it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when.
So we followed up with further evaluation. Okay. And now we determined that you saw Dr. Kim, did a biopsy,
Right.
and determined that now you have prostate cancer, but early stage.
Right.
How you feel about that?
Well, at first I was shocked. I was like, "You're not talking to me."
When I was asked to be a part of this documentary, I thought, okay, cool. This is for a good cause, and maybe I'll learn something and be able to help somebody. So, Dwayne, how did you discover you had prostate cancer, and were there any symptoms?
Never any symptoms, and haven't had symptoms in 3 years since I was diagnosed.
How old were you when you?
46 when I was diagnosed. 46. It was already spread, already advanced, and inoperable. And had I gone in and gotten tested 6 or 7 years earlier, probably none of this would have happened.
Prostate cancer is a silent disease. You don't know you have it. You have no symptoms. There's nothing wrong with you. You're running around happy.
I want people to realize cancer can happen to anyone. And my dad is living proof. My dad didn't smoke. My dad didn't drink. He had a vegetarian lifestyle, so he was very healthy. But yet, this monster still caught up with him.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the phrase prostate cancer?
Whenever I hear it, I say, "Brother, did you get checked?" And especially if you're over 40.
I never imagined my life would be so affected. That I would meet these courageous men who have been diagnosed with prostate cancer and are fighting to push forward. Willing to share their stories in hopes of helping somebody else. I never thought I'd be part of a movement to make a difference. They say a movement starts with one. As I begin this journey, I pray they're right.
That was powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah. So good. So
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah. Now, where did you find all these you know, survivors, I guess, or patients?
Sure. So actually, they were mostly people we knew. One of our producers, he was friends with Dwayne, one of the gentlemen in the movie. And then, of course, my father. That was my father who was saying, I didn't think it could happen to me when he was in his doctor's office. And then the other gentleman, also a friend of one of the producers, he was the only one to pass away. He was a vegan. He was a health advocate, holistic medicine person, and he's the only one who passed away during the filming of our movie. So, and then one gentleman was referred to us. So we wanted to get men from all different walks of life so that we could show that it doesn't have a respect of person. It doesn't matter if you eat healthy and are vegan, if prostate cancer runs in your family, which in that gentleman's family it did, his brother, two of his brothers and his father all had prostate cancer. So it didn't matter how healthy, how well he ate. Yes, it helps, but he still needed to get regular checkups and he didn't. That way he could have caught it early because it was such a strong gene in his family. So we wanted to dispel some of the myths. We had a family man who was my father. We had a gentleman who was a city councilman, and then we had a gentleman who was a hip hop mogul. And so we wanted to show, look, doesn't matter. You should still be getting checked, and you can definitely save your life if it's detected early.
Right, right. So, how long is your film? Is a feature, right?
It's a feature length, yes. So it's
Yeah.
an hour and 30 minutes, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
we did do a short version for medical professionals. So because they've been using it as a teaching tool and at some of the universities, so we do have like a short 30-minute version, but the actual film is an hour and 30.
Yeah. So as a, I guess this is your first directory for feature, right? And what do you think the most like two things that is the most important thing for you to learn by doing this film?
The most important thing I learned from doing this film is that a film can save someone's life. Like when we were out touring with the film, we were in Houston, Texas, and we were having a screening at Good Hope Missionary Baptist Church. And earlier that day, we had been on the local Fox News promoting the event. And a gentleman saw us on the news and came to the screening. And he was looking for the pastor who I'd been on the news with that day, and he was busy. So I was like, oh, he's not available, but I can help you. And he told me he had advanced prostate cancer and was ready to end his life. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm not qualified to handle this situation. But I tried to talk to him. I kept him close until I could get Dwayne, who's in our movie, to come and speak to him. I wanted him to get some help and some support. And he was very sweet. He just laughed. He's like, sweetheart, I need to speak to a man. You're very nice, but I need to speak to a man. I was like, I totally understand. Luckily, like I said, Dwayne, one of the prostate cancer survivors, was there, and he took him aside and talked to him and asked him to stay to watch the movie. And he did. And at the end, at the Q&A session, he stood up and told us thank you because he thought he had no hope. There was no hope, and he thought he was alone. But now by watching our movie, and us kind of connecting him with some community and getting him some support, he realized that he wasn't alone. And that's when I realized, wow, the power of cinema is amazing.
Right.
And to anyone out there who is a filmmaker, your films can change someone's life. It really can. And even if it's not a documentary, even if it's a narrative film and you're touching on topics that people aren't aware of, from mental health to things like this, like prostate cancer, you would be surprised the impact it can have on someone's life and in a community. So that was probably my biggest takeaway.
So now, so many of them said there's no symptom. And by the time, so what is, if there's one thing or two things, like how do you detect if there, why would someone go to see their doctor, say, hey, can you check if I have, prostate cancer? So what does your film say, and what does doctors say?
Sure. So basically, it's part of your annual physical. So when you go and get a physical as a man, you should definitely ask for what this is the part that men don't like. It's something called a digital rectal exam. And usually
Oh,
men are like,
sounds
no.
painful.
And honestly, it's not painful. It's just a little uncomfortable. It's like 2 seconds. It's nothing compared
Oh,
to what we go through with pap smears. Let me tell
oh,
you.
okay, okay, okay.
But
Yeah.
it's not something they like that much, but it
Mm,
could save your life. So
mm.
there's also a blood test called a PSA test. And
Oh,
that's also a test that they can do. And then from there, your doctor will further assess. So they're
okay.
really leaning more towards blood tests now. People aren't, of course, they don't like the digital rectal exam as much. But like I said, doing a digital rectal exam, doing a PSA test, that's the first start to see
Okay.
if your PSA is elevated, and if
Mm.
so, then that's a sign that they need to do further inquiry, further studies to make sure that you don't have prostate cancer. But definitely, that's part of your physical.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know. You after this project, you're like such a specialist. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So, now let's talk about another area you're so passionate about is that women of color filmmakers,
Yes.
that lab. So tell us a little bit about it, please.
Sure. So, Women of Color Filmmakers is my nonprofit organization. We garner support, skill building, and networking to women of color who are pursuing careers in film and television. It is definitely something that is near and dear to my heart. We have a little over 1,000 members now, all nationwide, and we provide a lot of educational programming. And one of our biggest programs is our film lab. So, it is a 6-month lab where we take filmmakers from script development, pre-production, production, and post. And then all their films screen at our summer film challenge in July. So this year we have 11 filmmakers in the lab, and they're all in pre-production right now, getting ready to. Some of them actually have started shooting. And then we have guest speakers and mentors, which you were a guest speaker. Ching was an awesome guest speaker and talked on shooting with the iPhone. And so, yeah, we're just really trying to help, especially normally this program is for like first time directors or directors who may have done a few short films, but want to really understand how to make their films look more cinematic. Maybe they've just, went to YouTube University and did a few things, but they haven't really figured out how to apply all those skills to their projects. So we're kind of really honing that in for them. So we have mentors, we have workshops, and they're able to ask us questions. They have private consultations where we can really dive into whatever they're working on or whatever their troubled areas are in their production, so that they're really supported as they make their first film or whichever project they're doing within the lab. So it's been an awesome experience. This is our second year doing the lab. Last year, the filmmakers, the alumni from the lab, their films are going on to win awards and film festivals and things of that nature. So we're really proud of the film lab. It's been a really amazing project. Yeah.
So how does that work? Say, do you have a website and people need to apply for it, or do you have a number of people you can accept? And then when is the sort of are there deadline? Like, do you have a
Sure.
starting point?
So we do the film lab once a year. Our starting point is usually January, February. So we'll reopen everything. And if you scroll down, I think you can see a video of some of our alumni now. I think I put that on there. But it will reopen in 2023. And then we usually have a number of filmmakers that this year we ended up having 11. No, it was 12. We had 12 initially. So keep scrolling down. It should be there. Keep going down. Yeah, and it's just really amazing to. Oh no, it didn't. Okay, let me see what happened here. Let me try again, and then maybe just have you refresh.
Oh,
I
yeah.
put it on there. Yeah,
Oh,
maybe refresh.
is it there? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it
Okay.
should be there now.
Okay, let me have to get out. I think I have to get out this thing, and then it's very interesting. Do you know, like when you do Facebook, if you add something and it doesn't show, you have to get out. And
Oh, wow.
do you know what I'm talking about? Like on
Oh, wow.
Facebook, it's the same thing. So
Oh,
let me get out this first and then re-enter.
no worries.
Re-enter. Okay. So get rid of this. Get rid of
Now,
this.
for anyone who's watching, so
Yeah.
even though the lab is closed, I know a lot of the filmmakers in the lab are looking for cast and crew.
Oh.
So you don't have to be a cast or crew member to be part. There you go. There's the video now.
Okay. So this. So you want to finish what you were saying, and then we'll.
Yeah, they're seeking cast and crew right now, a lot of the filmmakers, and we do have filmmakers who are in New York, LA, and Houston, Texas. And so they are looking for cast and crew. So if you're interested in participating as a cast member or a crew member, and I know a lot of them are going to be looking for post-production, so like editing, sound design, score, any of that stuff, please submit by emailing us at womenofcolorfilmmakers@gmail.com. Yeah. Or you can go to our website and message us.
Yeah.
And we would definitely love to, add you to our page where they're all getting all their cast and crew from. So just
Awesome.
make sure you include your resume if you're submitting as crew and your geographical location. Also, as an actor, we need your headshot, your your headshot, resume, and then links to your reel or to contrasting monologues if you don't have a reel. And your geographical location.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So this is the sort of a promo video.
This is just sharing a little bit. This is our alumni from last year, just talking a little bit about their experience in the film lab.
When was this started?
This was last year's people. So this year's they're kind of still in process.
Oh, okay.
The Women of Color Film Lab and being a member of the Women of Color Filmmakers has changed my life. I was really struggling to find my voice and a group of people that understood the stories I was trying to tell, and a place that I could really grow. And this group is incredibly supportive and encouraging, and all the women are so amazing. You don't have a choice but to give it your best and try to kind of emulate them, because they're showing you that it's possible. It's possible in this industry to tell the stories you want to tell and to make things happen. And there's literally no excuse.
All the mentors that came in and gave just, not even just, I can't even say like a little bit of nugget. They gave so much information.
The creative problem solving that seemed to always be happening. And that was actually kind of comforting to flash back to that when I was on set, to know that anything that I was going through on set was a part of the process. It was normal and you'll get through it.
The classes and workshops in the lab, they were priceless. I did not realize what I was getting involved in. And so many people that I've talked to have said, how much did this cost? Like, how did you get involved in this? Because we've really received an incredible amount of information.
What this has done for me is forced me out of what I know is my comfort zone. It forced me into a quicker cycle of rewriting and trying to make the story as strong as possible. The deadlines are pushing to make it happen.
I'm not sure that on the first day or maybe the first few hours I had it, but definitely the second day I found my voice as a director, and that was something that I learned from mentors in the lab. That it's not easy being a first-time director, not easy at all, and I think there's definitely a learning curve. And thanks to the mentors, Landi for sure talked to me, during the shooting process, taught me, find your voice. Find your voice, have confidence in your vision.
How has the film lab helped me grow as a director? Stretch, pressure, all of the things that you need, all of the things they say a diamond needs. Not that I'm comparing myself to a diamond, but I get it. Like the pressure, the stretch, the structure, the mentorship, the camaraderie, just being able to talk to the girls, bounce ideas back, information that I never had, and that you can get on your own, but it would be really hard to get all that information in one place. And the one thing that you don't get if you're going to YouTube is support. And that's really important.
Would I recommend this lab to a first-time or established filmmaker? I considered myself an established filmmaker before the lab. I felt like I knew nothing. So definitely yes. And for those people who are watching this, who are looking for, you know, some sign, or who are on the fence, like, this is your sign, like, do it.
Yes, I would recommend the film lab to another filmmaker. Absolutely. Don't do this alone.
Yeah, I would refer another filmmaker, and I cannot wait to do it again.
But I can guarantee that even if you're seasoned, you probably did not have an environment that was as supportive as the film lab, as people who have the same heart, the same desires, the same similar visions, who you can talk to about anything with. Yeah, do the film lab. What's for you? Why not?
Wow, that was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So who did the cutting?
Me. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a
Yeah.
one-man band on that one. I won't do that by myself again this year. But last year we were coming out of COVID, so I had more time. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that was great. Great cutting. Yeah. And
Thank you.
so now tell us a little bit more. So any colored women can apply for it, and then how do you decide who gets in? Like, what is the criteria?
Sure. So it's myself and our the WOCF Film Lab chair is Christina Wren. And so we definitely, they have to submit an essay to apply for the lab. And then we go through them, and really, I mean, it is a hard process. Last year, since it was our first year, we were able to accept everyone. So we ended up having like 17 people in the lab. This year, we got so many submissions, we had to downsize and like, okay, we can't take everyone this year. So it was really a tedious process. But we were really looking for, we wanted them to be able to describe their voice as a director, or what they want their voice to be as they become directors. And that's important to me. I think a lot of times, especially for women of color, that's the part that's silenced. You know what I mean? Like, that's the part they just want you to fall in line, and you're not allowed to fail forward in the industry. Unfortunately, as a woman of color, they just don't allow us to do that. And I want to take that away. I feel like that's not fair. Mm-hmm. So how can I help them really stand strong in their voice and support them in that effort? Because I know for me coming up, I didn't have that support. Mm-hmm. Often as a woman of color behind the camera, I'm tested on set a lot, mm-hmm. And even to this day, like I've done a lot of first AD work. I'm actually scheduled to shoot my first horror film coming up soon. Well, my feature length, because I have done horror shorts. But even on my sets though, as a freelance producer and director, I'll hire a crew that will test me sometimes. And I have to, put them in their place. And so I want women to feel confident when they're behind the camera, that they don't have to stifle their voice in order to be a director and be successful in this industry. If you know your stuff, if you understand how to tell your vision and you know how to execute it, and you're confident in that, then no one can question you, and you will move forward. Or when you are tested, you will be able to stand in what you know and not self-doubt, because I see that sometimes in us. And even in me, sometimes I have to check that voice starts coming in, you know what I mean? And you're like, no, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And I don't care what you say. I know what I'm doing. And we're going to do it the way that I said I wanted to do it, because I am the director. And that doesn't mean you don't take input. Don't get me wrong. There's a huge difference between working as a team on set and people second guessing and questioning you because they don't believe in you as a woman or a woman of color. And so, like I said, I just really want to stifle that. That's why we focus so much on making sure that our directors find their voice. What type of stories do you want to tell, you know?
So once you're getting accepted, is it like, do they have to pay a tuition? Like, how
No,
do
the
you?
Film Lab is free. The Film Lab is
So
free.
how do you fund the
Ooh,
organization?
girl, that's the question. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I mean, all your equipment, your lighting, the location. Where are these things shoot? I mean, this is really handsome. You have like a 2 lights behind, and the lighting was great on these
Thank you.
beautiful women. Yeah, like where do you do that?
Thank you. Well, so since I'm a freelance, for that specific video that you just saw, since I do freelance, I have a lot of equipment because I freelance and do a lot of corporate stuff. But for as far as the organization, we are just now starting. We became a 501c3 last year, so we're starting to get donations and stuff. But we need financial support. We don't have it. I think this was the first year we've grown so much through the pandemic. Before the pandemic, we only had 400 members. Now we have over 1,000 members. And of course, you know, before I was able to financially support the organization, I can't support over 1,000 people. Like, I can no longer do that. So now, you know, we're definitely seeking corporate sponsors, hoping to get grants. But right now, a lot of what you see is all volunteer based. Our community has really come together, and you know, really awesome volunteers. Even our mentors, even you know, Ching, coming and volunteering and being a guest instructor. It means the world because you don't realize how that little act of maybe an hour of your day helped uplift 11 women who have a dream of being a filmmaker. You know what I mean? So I'm very grateful to my community, to my Clubhouse family, because they have definitely come in and really have given their time because we don't have the financial means to do it. That's also why we teach cinematic filmmaking with the budget you have. So, because I'm a firm believer that if you can make a beautiful film look cinematic with your iPhone or with your DSLR or whatever minimal camera you have, and you're, you know, taking some lights from Home Depot and a shower curtain to diffuse it so that it still gets that nice, pretty soft light, like whatever you need to do, if you understand filmmaking on that very basic level, then when you have all the money and the Alexa Ari minis, or, you know, the big Ari or whatever expensive camera equipment, you're that much more skilled to work at that level. And what normally on a big set takes 5 people, you're like, wait a minute, I've been doing that with just me and Ching. What are you talking about? You guys need 5 people. You know what I mean? Your understanding of how to problem solve on set, because as a director, a lot of your job is problem solving. You understand how to do that because you were doing it when you had that shoestring budget on a very small level, but your film still looked good. So that's really what we focus on, because I know that served me as I continue to grow as a filmmaker, and I know that it can serve other independent filmmakers as well.
Yeah, so well said, well said. And a lot of time, learning the basics is very important, and doesn't matter what camera you have right now. For now, I think, yeah, and storytelling is the most important thing. If you can tell the story, and why is your story is more important than others, or why would someone listen to your story, right? And then afterwards, all the other technical things, you know, lighting and composition, and, you know, or in your case, you guys use script. So now, who wrote these script for these ladies?
Yeah, so for the Film Lab, they all wrote their own script. So we take them through the whole development process from creating the idea. They all had, so we give them a theme each year. So this year our theme is infinite. So each member had to write
infinite. Infinite means there's no end.
What means there's no end. The possibilities are infinite. There's no end. Yes. And we wanted their own interpretation of it. So whatever their interpretation of infinite was, be it, and it's interesting that I love giving one words and letting them interpret it. We did this last year too, and it's always amazing to see
what was last year's.
what was last year's Nirvana? Or last year's
What the
word
heck is Nirvana?
Nirvana can mean, well, it's kind of like it could be a kind of like a place of peace. But it was interesting last year. I mean, the scope of the movies went from love, sci-fi to all kinds of stuff. It was very interesting. And this year, Infinite, like it definitely, we're getting some a little bit darker films this year, which I was really surprised. But hey, you know, we just want to see what they create from that. So we take them through that script development process for their first idea generation to developing that script and then producing it. And I think that's really important, especially for those who are writer directors, because they're starting to learn. And this is for anyone who's a writer director. You have to learn to put that writer's hat down and pick up that director's hat. And that may mean some of those beautiful words that you crafted that, oh my gosh, this is going to be so awesome. Doesn't necessarily translate visually.
Right.
Right. That whole scene where they were telling about their feelings and me and you were just, you know, linking and understanding each other, Ching. Okay. But in real life, do we really talk like that? There's so much unsaid in our bodies and in our facial expressions. As humans, we communicate a lot non-verbally. That's why during the pandemic, people hated wearing masks. Right? Because I don't know what you're really saying.
If I smile, nobody knows I was smiling.
Exactly. Or all of a sudden I can't hear you. Do you notice how when you have a mask on, people are like, huh? Like what? Really, we read lips more than we realize, you know? And so when you become the director, after putting your writer's hat down, you now have to visually tell that story. That means some of those words may no longer serve the story you're telling, especially when you put actors in place, because the actors are breathing life into these characters. And sometimes they bring such richness that wasn't on the page. And so now those words no longer serve. So I think it's that's why we have them do that. Because then you really start to understand, because like for me, I'm often hired to direct other people's things. So I then have to be able to look at the written word and put my interpretation into it, and then give it to an actor who's going to put their interpretation into it. And then some of those words get lost. So it's really important to understand, to me, those processes and be able to differentiate, okay, I'm the writer now, I'm the director. And then when you start adding the other crew members, how much life gets put into that film project. And so that's why we do that. That's really why we do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I often feel that the word director or the word producer is very sometimes vague. It's like what the heck is a director really do, you know? So I'm gonna play a game with you right now. It's just my last minute. So we're gonna like do in turn, okay? And I say, what is director, right? And you're just gonna use one word. It could be a noun or adjective, okay? So you say one, and I come up and say another one, okay? Let's see if we can come up. If I can't say anything, you say all, okay? So what the heck is a director? Film director.
They're a conductor. Do you get what I mean?
Reader.
Huh?
They're a reader. They had to read.
They're well, like a conductor of a symphony. You get that.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that's a good one. Readers. And what else?
Readers? What's a reader?
They have to read their score. They have to read their script. So they have to read. Okay. So what else?
Interpret.
Yeah.
You have to interpret it.
What's the word I was thinking? Leader.
That's a good one. Leader. Yeah. I don't know what else you can put besides leader. So I guess I want to say supporter, something that brings it all together.
Yeah. And you said earlier, I'm stealing that, problem solver.
Yes. Problem solver for sure.
You said
that. Yeah. And open-minded.
Right. Ass kicker.
Definitely ass kicker. Boss lady all day. I love it. Yes.
Yeah. Your turn. One more. Your turn.
Uplifter.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's important.
Mm-hmm. Decision maker.
Decision maker for sure. Yeah. You got all the good words, Ching.
They have to provide good food.
Yes, that's super important. Crafty, good crafty is important.
Yeah.
Looking
Anyway.
out for everyone, vegans and meat eaters. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. That's a good game, huh? I just thought
Yes.
about right now, So we've never done that before. So yeah. So director. Now let's move on to some other areas. We're approaching 5 o'clock, which I have to go. I have an event. They start 3, and I say I can't come 3. I'll come after 5.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So now tell me a little bit. Have you touched about? I think a part of you having women's color film filmmakers, it's kind of as an educator. And do you have any other area you as a educator that you work with people and work with the project?
Yeah, so yes, I mean, when Women of Color Films, of course, is my passion, but we do a virtual directors workshop that's open to everyone. It is through the organization, but that is just open to anyone. And we may be doing another one in August, so always check our website for that. And then I'm super excited. I'm getting ready to teach a class with the awesome, phenomenal script consultant and script teacher, Pilar Alessandra. She has a podcast that's very popular called On the Page. And so we're going to be co-teaching in June together. And you can learn more about that by visiting her website, onthepage.tv. But yeah, I'm super stoked. This is our first time working together. Pilar has been an awesome support to Women of Color filmmakers. And she often comes in and does classes and things for us. And so I'm really honored that she asked me to come teach with her at her platform. So that is open to everyone. And it is going to be virtual, so it doesn't matter where you live, you can still attend.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I don't know how you have so much energy and so do so many things. And I wanted to use this time to thank our supporters here. People are watching us, and Crystal Brooks. She's your girl. She's your girl.
Yes. Hi, Crystal.
Hi, Crystal. Thanks for joining us. And Tech for
Yes.
Your Needs is Lewis. Lewis is I met Lewis also via my friend. We're very active on Clubhouse. My friend Shark Fin Tech, and Lewis made a lot of comments. And let's see, Shark Fin Tech is here. Shark Fin Tech Mark is always come to my session. And I want to thank Want to See More. Want to See More. How are you? Want to see more. And let's see. And we have some people in the audience, but they are not making comments. Sometimes people don't have a account that allows you to make comment, but they are here. I know they're here. So yeah. So if you possibly can, I have an echo.
I see a question from Tech for Your Needs.
Oh, okay. Do I have any device on? Because I hear echo. You don't have anything? Oh, do you have any a YouTube channel open? Let me see.
It's been open the whole time, but it's muted.
Oh, okay. Because I hear myself echoing. Yeah. So let's see. Did you hear echoing? Because I hear.
I don't have.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's weird. Did you guys hear my echoing? So let's see. Shark Fin. Where is Shark Fin? What question?
Oh no, I see Tech for Your Needs had a question.
Oh yeah, Tech for Your Needs is which one? Landi, how you create challenge, right?
Yeah, how you overcome challenges?
When things are falling apart, mean the lowest of lowest.
That's great.
Darkest and darkest. Oh my God.
That is a great question. Thank you for asking that. Yeah. For me, I am someone who normally has this super positive attitude. So I definitely, I take, if it's really like weighing on me, I take a moment, I take a breath, even if it means I have to step away from set for a moment to like compose myself. But I always try to come back with a positive solution. I feel like being, especially when you're the director on set, you don't have time. Like, I don't believe in temper tantrums or none of that nonsense. So I will sometimes, if I have to take a moment, and I'm going to come back with solutions. And I think that that to me is the most important thing. We usually are on limited time. You know, we're always chasing the clock on set. So really trying to find other ways to solve the problem. Okay, if it's about equipment or something like that, can we work around it? Can we shoot it in a different way? You know, whatever it is, if it's issues with crew on set not getting along, okay, how can we solve? Do I need to send a crew member home? Like, it really just depends on the situation, but I'm always about, especially because, like I said, I do a lot of freelance. So for me, it's not just my time and money, it's my client's time and money. So I don't have time for the nonsense, right? So I really just try to make sure we squash whatever it is with a positive attitude. I believe in having fun on set. Most people will tell you I will smile the entire time on set because, you know, I do this because I love it. We're not curing cancer, as one of my friends always says, my friend Antoine Allen, he always jokes, we're not curing cancer, we're making movies, y'all. So it should be fun, right?
Yeah.
So when you take to it with that type of attitude, it's much easier to problem solve and to realize, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm blessed and fortunate to live in a place where I can do this. And this is how I can make a living. So that's usually the approach I take. How can I just solve the problem and make sure we make our day and have a positive attitude?
Wow, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So, what are you working on now? Like the next project?
Right. What am I working on now? Okay, so I have a few things I'm working on right now. I am working with my friend that I just mentioned, Antoine Allen. We're getting ready to shoot a faith-based film called Driving Force. So we start shooting that next month. And then I am working on my own horror film that hopefully will be, I'm hoping by the end of the year we'll be able to shoot, but we're still working on the script right now. It's still in the early stages, but I am really passionate that we're going to get that done. And so those are like the two main things I've got going right now, other than Women of Color Filmmakers, all the awesome things we're doing in our programming, and then still freelancing as a videographer. So yeah, I do have a lot going on. A lot going on.
That's wonderful. I see your website about you were doing also earlier work as a photographer, and it's really impressive. And
oh, thank you.
So do you like have no time to do that? You prefer to do film? Like,
yeah,
So-
yeah. I mean, you know, sometimes for friends and stuff, I'll still do some photography, but now I am really busy. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I'm also working on a show called What the Flip. I'm really excited about that. It is a reality-based show with an awesome woman named Ellie Greenberg. And so we've done some preliminary stuff that's on social media right now that you can check out if you go to whatstheflip.com.
What's the flip?
What's the flip? Yes. But we're getting ready to shoot the bigger episode. So I'm really excited about that. That's the other thing I'm doing. So yeah, I don't have a lot of time, but I do try to disperse it, you know, amongst the things that I love working on. So
Wow,
yeah.
that's a lot of project. That's a lot of project. Yeah. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So yeah, so great to finally, you know, have a one-to-one talk, because you hosted that film lab you know, I guess workshop or class, and it was so well done, and all your ladies are so supportive and so sweet, and you know, and some of them like oh, can I see the selfie or the, you know, screenshot we took? Yeah, it's so cute. Yeah. So one last thing is why don't we say last word like often we do it on Clubhouse? So you start first. Like
Sure.
last word. Yeah.
My last words to anyone who's out there watching is don't be afraid to get started. If you are new in this industry, if you feel overwhelmed because you feel like you got to learn all this stuff, I got to learn this, I got to learn that, or you are going to YouTube University and maybe some of the things aren't connecting, don't be afraid to, as we say, fail forward. get out there and shoot. Like that's what I love about Ching. Ching will just get her phone and she will just go and start shooting some stuff. And I love that. And that's the attitude that you need to have, right? And then you start honing your craft from there. But know that the only way to get it done is to start doing it. We were talking about this on Clubhouse the other day about analysis paralysis. A lot of people will study, and take 45 billion workshops, but never really get started. That script that they've always wanted to do has been sitting on the virtual shelf, right, on their computer for 30 years, right? They've always wanted to make a film, but they're too scared. So just do it. Get started and don't be afraid to take that leap. And you will be surprised the support you can find with groups like ours. There's a lot of them out there. Clubhouse, even, a lot of support that you can find if you just take that first step.
Wow, that's so well said. Yeah, you said everything I want to say. So awesome. Yeah, just do it, right? But
Just
in the
do it.
meantime, there's so many resources out there, like YouTube University, like you said, or lots of you can still read some books, you know, and doesn't have to be complicated books, could be a dummy book, you know. I
Yeah.
find these dummy books are very easy to read, you know. Idiots book also, idiots for this and that. So and go on to Clubhouse. On Clubhouse, I met so many wonderful filmmakers, and I met you.
Yes.
I met Shockfin. I met Lewis. So many people I met, and it's just people who are not on Clubhouse. They think we're wasting our time, which we're
No
not,
clue.
right?
This film that I'm getting ready to do, I met Antoine on Clubhouse. This is our third film we've done together since we met on Clubhouse.
Wow.
That's
awesome.
getting distribution, not just some films that are going to sit somewhere.
Oh,
These
that's
films
awesome.
are big theatrical releases, but I met him on Clubhouse.
That's awesome. Yeah, I met so
Mhm.
many people on Clubhouse, and also the whole journey. Because when I started going up Clubhouse, it was March of last
Mhm.
year. It
Mhm.
was in the middle of I just started to apply for film festivals, and
Mhm.
I don't know anything about distribution. I don't know a lot of things, you know, like
Right.
making a DCP, or I don't know, just many of these loose ends. So by just listening, by being in the rooms, different rooms, and contribute to the rooms, and then
Yes.
I gain my personally a lot of followers. I think I
Yeah.
have like 5.7 K.
Wow.
I worked hard for that, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway, my last word also is people here, please consider subscribe my YouTube channel. Not that you just go in there subscribe. You really need to watch my videos. If you like it, and then you do it, because the algorithm is such, if you just subscribe somebody's YouTube channel, right? If you never finish watching things, it doesn't really matter, you know. I mean, you can see the number there. It matters that, but in the end, you know, so I think it's important to for me to gain subscribers if they like my work. So I do interview like that. I also post music productions. Yeah. So all the music things I done, Landi, I shot with my iPhone 12.
Oh wow. See,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, with
There
a
you
microphone.
go. There
Yeah,
you
I
go.
shot. If you see a lot of videos of my son, he just had his graduation recital, and so I shot with my phone, like 2 rows from his stage, and handheld,
Wow. That's awesome. That's
because I'm
awesome
not allowed.
to really have a. Uh-oh, what happened to you?
I think I touched my cord somehow. That cord doesn't listen to me, so I'm not allowed to put like tripod in the front of the theater. You know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I just hold.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. I love it.
So anyway, well, yes, Xiaoping Qing is a ball of energy. I think let's see, I think her motto is ABS. What is that? What's ABS?
Always be shooting.
Oh, okay. That's funny. So, okay, well, we're going to end here, and we can always do that again sometime, you know,
Yes.
maybe after your next project, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And
Yes.
and have more conversations about creativity and everything. right?
Yes, and thank you,
Yeah.
Ching, for having me and for all that you do. I mean, you do a lot too to help educate filmmakers about shooting on their cell phones. So thank you for just having me and for all that you do to help independent filmmakers. You know, you're amazing.
Thank you.
And
Thank
coming
you
to the
so much.
film lab, I
Oh,
just,
yeah. Yeah.
I
I'll
honor
visit
you.
you guys. Yeah, I'll visit you guys more. Yeah, I'll
Yes,
visit.
please
Yeah,
do.
yeah. I belong there. I'm colored,
Yes,
right?
you do. Yes, you belong there. There
I
you
am
go.
a yellow filmmaker.
There you go.
Okay, girl. So I'm gonna end with my audience first. Okay, bye, guys.
Bye. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, have a nice Sunday night. And Shark Fan, please text me where is your thing, because he's supposed to have a talk. So
Okay.
I've been waiting for Shark Fan. Okay, bye.
Bye, everyone.